Mr. Humble Hippie here on diseases and natural foods and foraging. Something most people actually probably do not realize, that even if you eat fruits and vegetables and healthy diet, did it come from your local supermarket, or did it come from foraging or from your garden? All these things make a difference, good intentions or not. When you're foraging, that means you are just out in the wild, picking and collecting foods, is extremely different than the exact same food that is packaged for you in the store. And we're going to go over a few little details. One, all medicines and drugs that are made to either heal, cure, or anything for people in a pharmaceutical sense at the store or from your doctor are typically created from plants, even if they are synthesized. Originally, the products that they are trying to synthesize are naturally occurring in plants. And a lot of medicines that we make to, say, kill cancer or some other very deadly, dangerous disease, the chemicals and the medicines that we use are extremely toxic, and they're actually deadly. And if we were to consume the wrong amount of any of those toxic chemicals or pills or medicine, we would die or get extremely sick. And even in the recommended doses, a good majority of people get extremely sick taking their medicine that their doctor gave them. Because you have to understand that the doctor did not actually create, manufacture, harvest, or understand anything whatsoever about the medicine that they are prescribing you. A doctor's job is to, 1, diagnose, 2, prescribe. But they have no influence on what it is that is prescribed to you. They get approached by a salesman, a telemarketer. Those people that you always hang up on are the people that are able to walk into a doctor's office and give them financial incentives, like, say, basketball tickets or football tickets or a resort or airplane rides or some type of incentive that may or may not be cash, because they may not be able to legally just walk into a doctor's office and say, I will give you $10,000 or $1 million or whatever if you prescribe our blackberry drug. We're going to call it blackberry. And so the thing is that blackberry drug might have chemicals or something that simulates something that would have been in blackberries, and then they will give that to, say, somebody who has gout or liver issues, and say, stones for urination problems, those types of people, urinary tract diseases, blackberries. Diabetes, blackberries. See, blackberries have, okay, I can't name off all the words right now because it's complicated Latin, and I can't quite remember the names, but the products that are in blackberries and fruits and berries that are dark contains products in there that help break down products that are in your blood system. And so people that have gout, which is basically clogged up arteries and cholesterol problems, could benefit from eating berries. And so I tell somebody, for instance, that, doesn't want to hear any hippie speech or diets or anything, and they eat a hamburger and all that every day. Well, a hamburger is better for you than pastrami, okay? And a strawberry milkshake is better for you than a Diet Pepsi. So it's not about dieting, it's about understanding what you're eating. Because everybody likes a shake, and possibly a lot of people like a Pepsi. But if you knew that by drinking that Pepsi, it would make you sick, and you might actually have to keep taking the chemical drugs that your doctor gives you, and you might actually have to take more drugs, and you might die. Or if you could drink a milkshake every day, and you might actually start being healed. That's a pretty easy example there, and it doesn't say that you have to stop doing one thing or take, some extreme diet. We're talking about milkshakes and hamburgers here. And so Reaganomics in the 80s put out a study where they basically mandated that all school children had to be fed a hamburger because they decided that the hamburger had all the proper nutritional value for the food pyramid at the time, or chart, or whatever. They change it every few years because, obviously they have financial incentive to make up these charts, and so they're not actually healthy or realistic, but they're based on monetary business values. And so anyway, so by eating, and the red parts, by the way, yes, as everybody knows, a little bit sour. What's that sour? That sour stimulates your body and tells your genes in your body to possibly start regulating and making new chemicals that our body creates in order to help us. And so I'm on a little bit of a tangent rant here. I know the extra explanation, that's what you get when you listen to my videos. And so what we're going to do here is trying to explain the difference between eating a handful of raw fruit and eating the same fruit in the store that would be called processed fruit, or eating a drug that was manufactured because you have some type of sickness or disease, and I'm trying to explain that that drug is actually simulating something that a handful of blackberries could in fact do for you. And so the direction that I actually want to go on is something far more complicated. And what it is these natural blackberries or fruit or vegetables or anything that you could naturally get that would not be in your garden, because that, in my opinion, and I'll go on a different subject on that, your garden is a processing plant. If you plant a garden in your backyard of suburbia, you are just a natural processing plant. You are still not actually natural. And you are probably what's called organic, right? Because you think that's great, but that's actually a federal regulation. And so you are actually putting chemicals and dangerous things on your food. Let's think about it in different terms. How about grown by God? I don't want to offend anyone. Your God could be Allah or Buddha or whatever Zen belief that you have, even Satanism. I don't know a lot about that, but just as an example, any God is your natural creator, okay? And the natural creator, and I think a lot of people might maybe agree, hey, I don't know, kind of looks like nature out here. There's the river, there's birds and all that. So this is nature, okay? So these plants are not watered, they're not fed anything, and they accumulate the real natural minerals from the earth. And these are a processing plant, and not a plant anymore like a green plant, but a manufacturing plant where you manufacture things. And it's called processing. Sorry, I had to eat those. And so the feeling, the effect that I get right now is a natural high when you eat. And again, the senses in your body start triggering different reactions throughout your body. Maybe your immune system needs a little bit more. All of a sudden, that trigger gets response because I ate a little bit of a red sour berry, and now you're being stimulated. If this is natural, as opposed to be very clear, your garden that you're out there spraying and getting all them bugs and webs and dirt and different things off of your fruit, or let's say the exact same example at the store in the fruit department and vegetable produce department, you have somebody, or they're spraying the fruit every day, and they're keeping the bugs off and everything. Well, 90% of fruits and vegetables in the market have actually been coated with a government-approved chemical called carnauba wax, or some other type of chemical covering that will allow it to be preserved for an indefinite period of time. And that's why you see a lot of warning signs on your apples and fruits and packaged fruits telling you to wash them off. Why would you want to wash God off of you? Think about that. God is, you are. So washing is a controversial subject, and actually, so-called civilized people, specifically in France and other places, really did not wash themselves at all until recently, probably in the mid 1800s or whenever. Soap and water and we're specifically talking about white people here and cultural civilized conquerors, not indigenous people. That's two different factions of people. But all civilized people until the 1800s did not wash themselves. They did not use water and soap. They thought it was um, immoral. They thought it was a sign of the devil. They thought water, somewhere where you die. And the only people that would go into water were witches. And that is why in Pennsylvania, in America, United States of America, they would actually tie people up and throw them in the water because they just assumed that was, the devil place, and you would drown or you would float, and that made you have special powers, and then you were definitely a witch. If you floated, you'd still be killed either way, but it was just a matter of whether you went to heaven or whether you went to Satan. This is how it was. This is how United States of America, to this day, a lot of people still believe that in certain churches. But however, that was a popular social um, social belief, till the mid 1700s or 1800s. And so, anyway, back to all this dirt and stuff. When you wash the fruit off, you're washing the dirt off. The dirt is God. God is nature. The minerals and all of these microorganisms, there's billions of little teeny critters and things that are on your food and on your body, and they're crawling all over everything, and that's why people wash stuff off, right? Well, we need those things. And so, say this grass, we're not a cow. We cannot eat this grass. But what if when I'm picking the berries, what if just a little teeny bit? What about a little teeny, even smaller than that? At what point does this grass not become toxic to me? Okay? You following me here? So this is what civilization has figured out, is that, wait a minute, this is extremely toxic and deadly. We cannot eat this. However, the toxicity, the danger in it, which is called gramamine, by the way, which is the toxic stuff in grass, and that's what makes you itch. And if you're the sort of person who makes your kid go play in the front yard and all you have is grass, I'm telling you, grass is extremely toxic. It will kill you. So you're kind of a bad parent by making your kid go roll around and play in the front yard if it's only grass. You should plant fruit trees and food, okay? Because grass is toxic and it makes you sick. And if you're rolling around in it, that's why you get all scratchy and hives and different things, because it's bad for you. However, grass is also a medicinal, and so all indigenous peoples and indigenous cultures that are specifically still practicing indigenous beliefs realize that this is extremely medicinal. And so again, civilized worlds that manufacture drugs realize that, and so they take these toxic products and they extract the toxicity out of it, and then they make it in such a microscopic dose with other products that our body is allowed to assimilate it without the negative reactions. And that is how we are able to kill, say, cancer, for instance, with a very deadly toxic drug, because we're able to manipulate the dangers in those chemicals that make the drug. Okay, I know I'm babbling here, but there's real info deep in the middle of what I'm saying here. So these right here, there's bees flying around, there's bugs, there's all the spiders, okay, all sorts of different stuff, crawling, little teeny things and stuff, and dirt, like I said, gets on this stuff. And so when you're in the produce aisle, again, all of that stuff gets rinsed off. All of that stuff in the processing plant, it gets scraped off, it gets cleaned. And then maybe you're the sort of person that you take your vegetables and you actually scrape the skins and things off, okay? I have to go on a tangent here, but that's another really dumb, bad idea. And 90+% of all the valuable medicine and minerals and things that are valuable in a potato, in an orange, in an apple, are actually the seeds and the core and the skin. You would never want to peel a potato and then prepare it. You would never want to, even an orange. It would be healthier for you to peel an orange, take the orange, throw it away. That's all sugar. That's bad for you. Ask the FDA. Ask your health doctor. You know what's good for you? Ask a scientist. The orange peel. The orange peel is a guaranteed. It cures the common cold, cures the flu. Vitamin C is a power substance, mineral product that cures things. It kills cancer. The government knows that. It is illegal for you to actually make these claims that I just said. Why? Because everyone has access to oranges. And you know how much a cancer pill is? So, that's why people are dying and dead. Because they were taught and sold a product to peel their potato. But that's where all your minerals are. If you don't eat the minerals out of the ground, you're going to die. You need iron. You need all of molybdenum, all of these weird things that are, words that most people don't know are actually in the ground. Well, you know what? We can't eat a rock, but you could pick a rock up and suck on it. Sound crazy? You pick that rock up and you suck on it. You know what'll happen? You'll actually extract minerals out of that rock, and that your body will be healed from that. So instead of doing that, maybe, it's just a crazy idea, you go out and you pick some blackberries. And the blackberries, or the potatoes, or any product, they have done these things for you. They have pulled all of these minerals out of the ground. And the insects and things that eat off of them and crawl all over them, well, yep, they pooped on it. You're eating insect poop. Well, that's gross. Who wants to do that? Well, here's the thing, is insect poop actually kills cancer. And insects kill cancer. And all the dirt is the minerals. And so again, maybe if you're looking at a handful of poop, you don't want to put that in your mouth. But if you were looking at insect poop, you wouldn't see it. You don't see what the fly just left on your sandwich. People eat all day long and they have flies in their house. That's you. You're a disgusting person, okay? That's you. You're filthy. It's not natural. Flies don't just hang out in your house. It's because of you. You need to accept that between me, you, and the video. If you're the sort of person who has flies in your house, it's because you're a filthy person. You can kill those flies, you can put a screen on the windows, and you can keep the door closed, and you can cover up your food, and you can put it in the refrigerator, or you can put it in bags. And then the cockroaches and the bugs and every other infestation that's in your house won't be there. So that's you. But that's another little tangent, just for you people that are disgusted by things, but realize that you're actually the one causing the disgusting things in your household. And so anyway, when you're eating these natural blackberries, or any fruits, and you're not washing them and you're not getting them from the store or produce or some agricultural business, then in fact all the dust and the dirt and the webbing and different things on there are actually natural medicines, and they're in micro doses, including the bugs and the poop and anything else that is on there is a natural medicine. And your body can take the botrytis, okay, which is a mold. It's a brown black mold that loves to grow on, say, blackberries. Well, you are unknowingly, when you're eating these things, you might be eating little micro doses of basically molds. And so, again, you wouldn't want to just take a big spoonful of that mold. But at the same time, in a micro dose, your body is able to accumulate the immunity that you need to protect yourself from the cancers and the other things that would never be able to live on that blackberry, because the blackberry is an anti-product to these other toxic things, these other life forms. And it goes the same with poison ivy. It's the same with poison oak. It's the same with a lot of dangerous toxic things that make people sick. If they had just eaten a natural diet in their childhood or prior to being sick, then there's an excellent chance that they would never have gotten that sickness, because their body would be able to defend themselves. Instead, they go take a drug from the doctor when they start feeling sick, and that is an extreme toxic dose, which then hits your body extremely hard, and it typically will eat out your liver, and it destroys your liver. And that is the majority of toxic drugs. They affect your liver. Your liver is your cleanser in your body. It's a giant sponge, and it extracts all the dangerous toxins and chemicals out of things that you eat. And that is where euphorbias come in. Euphorbias are latex plants with a white milky substance in there, and there's thousands of different kinds, and some of them, like a dandelion for instance, are extreme medicines, which is another reason why dandelions do not exist in the produce market or in your doctor's office, and I know there's reverse psychology here, because they cure cancer. Because eating dandelions would actually stop most people's heart diseases and most people's cholesterol problems and a long list of other things. And so they're not giving those things. They're giving some other toxic thing. Neem from the trees and tea tree oil, all these things, they kill bugs, they kill diseases, and they kill bacteria. And so when you're eating these natural foods, you're actually eating little micro doses of toxic stuff, little micro doses of bugs, little micro doses of feces and different things, which will actually keep you healthy. And you will never have to take the whole spoonfuls of these toxic drugs. I hope that very long, lengthy rant helps you understand why it's so beneficial to eat natural things that may be like, ooh, there was a bug on that. That might save your life. And you may never, ever, ever catch a cold. You may never notice anything. Nothing different in your life changed at all. I think the Asians call that a good day.